Kevin Porter Jr.'s career has been weird. He first came onto my radar in high school when he did this. To this day, it's still one of my favorite highlights I've ever seen. This one dunk drastically raised his name recognition overnight. At the time, he was the 40th ranked prospect in the country and decided to go to the University of Southern California. In his freshman season, he didn't do anything crazy, averaging less than 10 points a game, but with his athleticism and the skill set he possessed, there was a lot of excitement for him at the next level. He ended up going with the last pick in the first round of the Milwaukee Bucks, but was later traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. A huge reason for him falling this far in the draft was quote-unquote personal conduct issues that he had dealt with in his freshman season. I became a huge Porter Jr. believer throughout his rookie year. The production wasn't crazy, averaging 10 points, but if you ever got the chance to watch him play, you could tell he was going to be the real deal. On the offensive side, everything was there, an athletic, left-handed wing, but it was his ability to break down defenders paired with his quick first step and Luka Harden-esque step back that made me convinced he was going to be a problem, and I was really hoping the Cavaliers would just clear the way for him to jump into a bigger role. His career would take a turn ahead of this season when he would receive a weapon charge. Now, this charge would eventually be dropped, but it was his most recent incident that put him in the position he's in today. He returned to the team mid-year and was set to make his NBA debut, but when he went into the locker room, he was shocked to find out that his locker had been moved to where the younger and bench players are. This caused him to reportedly go on a rampage directed at the team's GM, including even throwing food at one point. After this, it came out that the Cavaliers had decided to move on from KPJ and were either going to trade or waive him. They ended up striking a deal with the Houston Rockets for a future second-round pick. I was really hoping he'd be playing for the main roster, but to start things off, the Rockets decided to put him in the G League, which just kicked off recently. In his first 3 games, he's 5th in scoring with 24 points a game to go along with 6 assists and 4 rebounds, but he has shy just 40% from the field and 28% from 3. Sure, the efficiency isn't great, but we're dealing with a very small sample size of games. The skills that had so many excited about his future have been on full display. I'm actually really excited to see him play with this big of a role, and I truly believe if he can get past these off-the-court issues, he is going to be a great player in the league. Before Linsanity became one of the most viral events we've ever seen, Jeremy Lin's professional career was really started in the NBA D-League. He played 4 years at Harvard and then went undrafted in the 2010 draft. He then would go to the Summer League, where he played pretty decent, earning offers from the Lakers, Mavericks, and Warriors. He decided to go with the Warriors and would have a very minor role as a rookie, only appearing in 29 games. It would bounce between the main roster and G League, where he actually played very well, averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on solid efficiency. In the first day of training camp going into his second season, he'd be waived by the Warriors, then picked up by the Rockets and waived again soon after. The Knicks had waived Chauncey Billups and were dealing with the injury of Iman Shumpert, so they needed depth in the backcourt and decided to sign Lin. With the team falling apart, on February 4th of 2012, Mike D'Antoni decided to give Lin a chance, and this is when Linsanity would be born. In that first game, he would have 25 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. The following game, he would have his first career start where he would again shock the world with 28 points. 3 games later against the Lakers, he would go off for 38 points, but the hype would reach all-time highs 2 games later when he would hit a game-winning buzzer beater against the Toronto Raptors. In that stretch of games, he was easily the most talked about basketball player on the planet. He would hold on to his starting job and would average 19 points and 8 assists for the rest of the season before going down with a knee injury at the end of the year. After that, he would sign a 3-year, $25 million deal with the Houston Rockets. In his first year in Houston, he would start all 82 games, but the hype would die down with him proving not capable of sustaining the success we saw in New York. He would have a decent role in the league from 2012 to 2017 between the Rockets, Lakers, Hornets, and Nets, where he averaged 13 points and 5 assists. He would play with the Hawks and Raptors in 2019, but when free agency hit, he went unsigned. He described the situation as hitting rock bottom and that the NBA had given up on him. He then went to the Chinese Basketball League, where he actually landed a $3 million contract and would average 22 points and 6 assists a game. In the hopes of making an NBA comeback at 32 years old, this season, he decided to sign with the Warriors G League affiliate. Kind of crazy that his career really began on the Warriors G League. He would then have one of the most insane careers, and now he's back on their G League team. To start the year, he's been amazing. He's averaging 18 points and 7 assists, shooting 52% from the field and 59% from 3. There's a real chance that if he keeps this up, he could get another chance in the league. I think Lin's story is just a great example of how special this sport really is. This G League season is different than any other, as we now have players projected to be top selections in the upcoming draft. With increasing pressure to get rid of the NBA's one and done rule, in 2018, they introduced select contracts of $125,000 for top prospects, but no one bid. So this year, they decided to raise the stakes, and now these select players are earning as high as $500,000 for this season. Now, this wasn't supposed to be the normal G League. The 6 prospects were going to be playing alongside veterans for the G League Ignite, a team that was scheduled to play in a series of exhibition games against G League teams, foreign national teams, and NBA academies. But with several teams not participating this year, the Ignite have actually joined the traditional team structure and have looked really good to start the season. They're 3-0. Easily the biggest name on this team, and possibly the whole league, is Jalen Green, who finished off his senior season as the #1 ranked prospect in the country. He went into the year projected to be a top 5 pick, so there were a lot of eyes on him to see if he would live up to the hype. Now, I'm interested to see how scouts judge the performance of these players in the G League. Will they look at it more like college or overseas, like we saw this past year with LaMelo Ball? Regardless, Green's done nothing but strengthen his case for being a top pick. To this point, he's averaged 18 points, shooting 56% from the field and 40% from 3. With how athletically gifted he is, if he's putting up numbers like this, he's going to go into draft night as a lock for a top spot. Currently, most mocks have him between the 2nd and 5th overall pick. The second highest ranked recruit on the team is Jonathan Kaminga, who finished the season as the 4th ranked prospect in the class after reclassifying from the 21 class where he was the top ranked recruit. He went into this season in a very similar boat to Green when it comes to the NBA draft, and like Green, he hasn't disappointed. So far, he's averaging 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 46% from the field. It was kind of up in the air on whether or not Kaminga's production was going to match his potential, especially this early on in his career, but with him playing like this, it's almost a guarantee we're going to hear his name very early on in the 2021 draft. There are some questions when it comes to some of his refined skills like shooting, but we're talking about a long, athletic, 6'7" wing that's putting up numbers like this at 18 years old. He's not going to turn 19 till the start of next season. A guy that's getting a lot of NBA attention from this team is 6'5" point guard Dasha Nix, who came out of high school as a 21st ranked prospect. Unlike Green and Kaminga, he's got a lot more to prove this season if he's going to be selected in the first round of the draft. So far, he's averaging 12 points and 5 assists, but that's really brought down by one scoreless performance. 2 out of 3 games, he's had at least 25. In his most recent, he had 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists on 8 for 16 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3. Right now, most outlets have him going in the mid to late first round. The list of this team's top recruits doesn't stop there. They also have 6'9" power forward who finished the year as a 15th ranked player in the country, Todd. There's only one ball, and to this point, he's had the smallest volume out of these top recruits, averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field and 60% from 3. It's going to be interesting to see if his production stays similar, where his draft stock ends up. Currently, it's hard to find him on any mocks, but with the potential he has, I really wouldn't be surprised if that changes as the season goes on. This team also has 2 well-known foreign prospects under the program, Sing Principal and 7'2" Kai Soto, but both have yet to take the G League court, so if they're going to get a chance in the NBA, it's not looking like it's going to be via the 2021 draft. But regardless, this team is super fun to watch. I don't think I'd ever be saying that about a G League team, but I'm excited to see what they do the rest of the year.